Hello, friends, and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey. Let's keep talking about Jason Garrett's future, because that's very much up in the air, in particular, if and when they do fire Garrett. In the words of my good friend James Yoder, just go out and get the best coach, right? That's the whole premise. So here's what we're going to talk about on today's show. Obviously, Garrett's future is in doubt. If the Cowboys, if and when they fire Jason Garrett, shouldn't Dallas just pursue the biggest names out there and then be force them to say, no, I don't want to go there? Of course, this is much easier said than done. We'll explain why for all of these replacements, but I know what you guys want. You want Jason Garrett fired, and you want a real head coach in instead. So if you agree, well then subscribe to us here on YouTube. We'll keep you covered on all things Jason Garrett, all kinds of candidates if and when he's fired. And if you don't want Jason Garrett, let me know in the comments. Tell me why you want to keep him, because I don't really see many great reasons. Now, the lamestream media might tell you that nobody wants the Cowboys job because they don't want to work with Jerry Jones. Let me make this very clear for everybody watching right now. NFL coaches want the Dallas Cowboys job. That is a coveted job. In fact, Jerry Jones' stubborn desire to keep Jason Garrett as the head coach is actually a selling point. Jerry says, look how patient I am with Jason Garrett. Imagine how patient I'll be with you. Now, of course, everyone wants the best head coach for the Cowboys. As I'll explain as we go through these targets, it's not quite that simple. So let me know, who is your dream head coaching target? If you can hire anybody out there in the world, who do you want it to be? Let me know in the comments. Maybe your first guy here. Yes, Sean Payton. He's long been linked to the Dallas Cowboys. And I get it. He coached for the Cowboys. He gets along with Jerry Jones. He was linked last year to this job. So why hasn't he been mentioned a lot this time around? Well, one pretty major reason. He signed a massive contract extension with the New Orleans Saints. And I could still see a scenario where Jerry Jones goes to Sean and says, hey, I will give you all of my yachts, half of my money to come here and coach the Dallas Cowboys. But here's the problem. If Sean Payton wanted the Dallas Cowboys job, why would he have signed that extension? Any price here, I think, for a trade, which we'll get to in a second, I think would be astronomical. So sure, you can call Sean Payton. I've pretty much given up on this dream, though, because he signed the deal with the Saints. Does he really want to come to Dallas? Number two, who is the number one coach in all of the NFL, Bill Belichick. And maybe, if you want to believe into your conspiracy theories here, maybe Jerry Jones mentioning how Bill Belichick once asked him for a job, before when he got fired by the Cleveland Browns, was his way of kind of laying the groundwork for bringing Belichick to the Cowboys. It'd be a great hire, and I think we are all absolutely on board with that. But why would Belichick leave the Patriots? Earlier this week, we talked about how Mark Cooper knows he has a great thing, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's Belichick in New England. I think he just retires at some point, far more likely than coming in to the Dallas Cowboys. And by the way, for all of these sitting head coaches, you would need a trade. And yes, you actually can trade for coaches, technically speaking. It's a little bit more convoluted than that, but that's the basis of it there. So would you even want the Cowboys to trade for a coach? Type Y for yes, N for no. You better get it right, because it's not going to be cheap. Right, Patriots? Now, for the Patriots, we often joke about how the Herschel Walker was the best trade in NFL history. Maybe it's actually the Belichick one. A first, 2 fourths, and a fifth and a seventh. It's not the only one, by the way. John Gruden, 2002, was even more expensive. And maybe you could even argue that paid off because they won a Super Bowl. If you trade for a coach, you better win a title. And that was expensive. 2 seconds, 2 firsts, and $8 million. The recent reports indication have kind of made me think maybe Jerry wants to go with a big splash, but any trade for Payton or Belichick or any of the big guys, it probably looks like that. Maybe that's too expensive. Ideally, you could do something like the Herm Edwards trade, which was only a 4th-round pick, which wasn't that expensive. And then the most recent one, totally under the radar, no one realized it, was actually Bruce Arians. A 7th and Bruce in exchange for a 6th. It was only like 25, 30 spots difference there. But funny how that ended up working out. There is danger involved with making a trade for a head coach, so you'd better get it right. You're going to be reaping the consequences for quite a while. Now, we'll get back to the rest of these top 10 big names the Cowboys could go target, but I do remind everybody there is a deal going on Fanatics. It's chatsports.com/Cowboys. All kinds of Cowboys gear is up to 50% off. Quarter zips, hoodies, shirts. Heck, I got this polo. See the star right there from Fanatics. 50% off. If you need something to add to your Christmas list, because I'm a guy and I'm very difficult to shop for, add this to your list. Chatsports.com/Cowboys, up to 50% off. It's the best Cowboys gear deal this holiday season. Number 3, Harbaugh, but it's John this time. And many of you have said, well, just hire Greg Roman, the OC. Why get the OC when you can get the head coach, right? And I'll take everyone back to last year, around the same time. There were trade rumors about Harbaugh's future. Then the Ravens go on a run. They make the playoffs. They re-sign him. Things are clearly different now in Baltimore. So I don't know if you'd actually be able to get him. I think it's, if you want to take at least take a phone call approach, absolutely. I don't think Baltimore's going to allow him to leave this time around. You knew number 4 was coming, right? I mean, if we talk about Jim, or John, we got to talk about Jim too. Obvious success in the NFL and at the college coaching level. And I actually do think Harbaugh would be a good fit for the Dallas Cowboys. I also want to at least ask the question, is Harbaugh the same coach he was in his prime with San Francisco? The desired success at Michigan hasn't been there. He hasn't been bad. I mean, 43-15 is better than what the Wolverines had before him. And he's won typically 10, or sometimes 9 games. He's been about a 10-game guy, 10-win-a-year guy at Michigan. But is that enough for the Wolverines? A, is he even going to leave his alma mater? And B, he's not leaving on the high note. He hasn't accomplished what he wanted to leave at Michigan. It would almost feel like maybe at some level, is he running away from the job? And do you want a guy that's running away from his current position? I don't necessarily think that's the case for Harbaugh and Michigan, but I think it's a conversation we need to have overall. So if all things are equal, which Harbaugh would you want? Type 1 for Jim, 2 for John. Chime in for me. I would prefer John Harbaugh, but with the way college coaching works in their contracts versus NFL coaching, reminder, no salary cap for coaches, so money's not a problem. Maybe Jim would actually be easier to get. Let's move on now to number 5, Urban Meyer. Yes, he's on this list. Of course he is. Let's have an honest discussion, though, about Urban Meyer. And I know many of you are like, just hire him. He's great. And there is no doubt Urban Meyer is a great coach. But I think to enter this conversation with having 0 doubts, that's a little bit naive. Now, Meyer expressed interest when he was asked about it by Colin Cowherd. He also spoke past tense the entire time and was in the context of Lincoln Riley, by the way, who maybe we'll get to him in a little bit here. He also has said he doesn't miss coaching as much anymore. He certainly fits that big name you would want. But there are health issues. Urban Meyer has left 2 different jobs citing that. That's at least worth mentioning. Now, I mean, the track record's pretty damn insane, right? 85% of the time he wins his games. He's a great college coach. I think it's at least worth mentioning, but wait, do you worry about having no NFL experience? And as we'll mention once the Cowboys bring in a new head coach, the coordinator hires are kind of a big deal. And do you want to read too much into Ohio State being just as good with Ryan Day as the head coach? Just throwing it out there as an option. Number 6, the wonder child himself, Sean McVay. Wonder Kid, that's what it actually is. My bad. I'm going to do it. Sean McVay. Just imagine, guys, what Sean McVay could do with a better quarterback at Jared Goff. I think it is fair to wonder if the shine of McVay has lost its luster just a little bit. The Rams are not as good this year. As we mentioned, getting out of a contract is not that easy. I'm curious if the Rams would even ask for McVay because they think they have a really great young head coach. They also have no draft picks, so maybe those picks would mean a little bit more for the Rams than it would for the Dallas Cowboys. Number 7, Bob Stoops. Most of the names on this list are actually difficult to obtain because they're under contract with a different NFL team or they have a great gig at the college level. Bob Stoops is at the XFL right now. He is one of the few, and I'll put this in quotes, available coaches on this list. And if you want to date back to when they hired Wade Phillips, Bob Stoops was mentioned because Oklahoma head coach of the Cowboys is always a rumor that's out there. At the same time, for Bob Stoops, he left the Sooners to let Lincoln Riley take over, citing some of his health concerns with the way his father passed away as on the sidelines as a coach. I wonder if Bob actually just prefers the lower stress job of the XFL. It's a nice little hybrid. Still gets the coach, scratches that itch. Also, isn't freaking out every single week about recruiting and game planning and every day, and has just less stress on that front. And I do wonder what the non-compete is for the XFL, because they've actually been able to block some players from going from the XFL to the NFL. Now, you will no doubt be able to bet on the Cowboys' next head coach. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code you see on your screen. It's Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus. Full disclosure, I bet on Lincoln Riley being the head coach this time last year. Did not, or I guess a little bit before this time last year. Did not work out for me. It's chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus. Number 8, the Clemson head coach, Dabo Swinney. Producer Alicia, producer's note she wanted me to say, by the way, never leaving Clemson. And I think that's the homer in her speaking just a little bit, but I think the point is a good one. We know he's done a great job at Clemson, has a great coaching staff there. I think he's a great coach, great recruiter, great motivator. I wonder if Dabo's one of those guys who is a better fit in college and wants to be at the collegiate level. I don't know if he's ever going to leave for a job from Clemson that's not Alabama. That might be the only gig he ever leaves. And as we kind of hinted at before, do you even want a college coach? Type A for yes, B for no. It is a discussion worth having. I don't mind it. I think that at times it's overblown. I think the common problem that college coaches have run into in the NFL is that they get too much personnel control, that they want to make all these decisions. Chip Kelly was a disaster for him. Heck, it was even a disaster for our number 9 guy, Nick Saban. He is without a doubt one of the best coaches in college football history. You can even argue he's the best. But he's already 68 years old, and he failed in the NFL. He could be a retread hire, technically speaking. He's a big-time name. Is he really the right hire? I'm not here to argue that Saban isn't a great college coach. Everywhere he's gone, Toledo, even Michigan State, especially LSU and Alabama, he's done incredible. But he took the Miami job. He was a sub-500 coach. He's an old guy, frankly. I think Saban is closer to retiring than he would be to coming back and taking another NFL gig. I don't think it makes sense for Saban. And frankly, I think the Cowboys should look elsewhere. Now, I think he might be a higher name to call here. Let's put the number 10. That's Lincoln Riley. I put him at number 10 because some of those reports said, hey, the Cowboys should aim higher. One of them from Brian Broaddus said, hey, what about if you go bigger than Lincoln Riley? Hey, that's pretty damn big. But Riley, I think, just barely checks the box here as the big-name replacement because everybody in the NFL wants him. Watch what happens when the Browns job comes open, when the Falcons job comes open, when the Giants job comes open. When all these jobs come open, the Redskins job open right now, Lincoln gets linked to all of them. The problem is he's not going to leave for any job. That's why I kept him on this list. Oklahoma is an elite coaching job. He's beloved there. The stress probably a little bit less. You can win 10 games every year in college and immense success. 10 wins in the NFL with limited playoff success? It's not really what you're aiming for. The expectations are much higher. He gets along with Stephen Jones. So you have to sell him. I think it's possible, but if you're going down the list of the order of, okay, who's the biggest name we want to call first? Maybe Lincoln Riley actually isn't inside that top 5, even though I still think it is doable for Dallas if they do and when they fire Jason Garrett. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.